So it looks like the quality control manager has reviewed the situation and everything's good to go. So let's go. I'm old. I'm fat. And I'm able to change only one of those. Well, it's April the 1st, and I woke up to a really mean April Fool's Day joke done by someone, I don't know who. But since it is April the 1st, I thought this is the perfect time for a review of how I did for the month of March. And over the month, I am down 20 pounds. Sorry, Juno. So how am I doing food-wise and activity-wise? Food-wise, there's no change from the last video. I eat practically the same food every day and only in the 4 hours between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock. I usually start the mornings off with a large cup of coffee with a bit of milk, and that sustains me until lunchtime. And at that point, I'll cook up a couple of cups of broth, and that keeps me going until 5 o'clock. I have found that on a couple of days when I feel very hungry and it's approaching the 5 o'clock time frame, if I eat a couple of chunks of cheese around 4:30, it will satiate me for at least an hour before I need any other food. I'll start preparing supper around 8:15, and it has been the same meal every day: bacon and eggs. And to be honest, I really haven't gotten bored of it yet. I have given myself one treat. The last Sunday of every month is going to be my cheat day. I'll still keep up with the intermittent fasting and only eat between 5 and 9. But that's the day that I get to fall off the wagon, or to be more specific, jump off the wagon with both feet. That explains that little blip at the end of the chart. That was cheat day. So what am I doing to keep myself busy? When the weather wasn't cooperating, I worked on a couple of jigsaw puzzles and created a couple of short videos of Juno and then uploaded them onto YouTube. I've included a link to them in the description. The snow was finally melted and I can get out and get working on my backyard. I wanted to make changes in my backyard ever since I moved here, and this is the summer that I'm going to get all that done. Last summer I discovered that one of the previous owners had laid out a limestone patio, but the grass had grown completely over it. In England there's a TV show called Time Team, where a group of archaeologists would dig up a site. So my nephew and I decided to do our own version of Time Team and clean up the rest of the patio. I enjoyed campfires out on the patio all of the rest of last summer, but my master plan is to tear down that wood shed on the left and the garden shed on the right, and build a new garden shed about where the fire pit is and put the patio where that shed is now. First thing I had to do was some major cleanup from last year. My neighbor and I had a couple of dead ash trees cut down last fall. And in early winter, I had two young men with a portable bandsaw plank the tree trunks for me. They left a large pile of scrap lumber that had to be cleared up first. I cut up all the scraps and stacked them in a pile out of the way in my backyard, and then emptied out the rest of the wood pile and stacked it there too. And with all of the bending and twisting I did, my back was pretty sore that night and most of the next day. A couple of days later I dismantled the woodshed. I'm sure you're disappointed that there's no time lapse of me working on it, but trust me, I just worked away at it until it was completely dismantled. Well, except for the moment that I caught my shoelace on a nail and face planted in the mud. I wish I had recorded that, but unfortunately the best I could do is a dramatic reenactment. At least that's how I played it out in my memory. I did take a picture of myself post face plant to commemorate the moment. Not one of my finest hours. And after a change of clothes, I went back out to do some more work. After the wood pile, I started removing the limestone slabs of the patio, right up until it rained and the entire area was one big mud puddle. After my first videos came out, I was asked by someone about keto and intermittent fasting, and I directed them to the following resources that I used in my research. Two of the best books that I read were The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung and The Complete Guide to Fasting by Dr. Jason Fung and Jimmy Moore. And another really well-written book that I used was this one, Hacking Chemo by Martha Tettenborn, registered dietitian. It has a whole bunch of really good recipes in the back for keto and intermittent fasting. And she's my sister. I have a link to all of those books in the description. I also found a channel on YouTube that was very helpful. It's called Get It Together, hosted by a young man in Toronto who used keto and intermittent fasting to get healthier, and he created a series of videos documenting his journey. I have a link in the description to his channel. So that's it. It's been the first of what I hope will be many months of weight loss. I feel great, and I'm really happy with the results so far, because I'm old, I'm fat, and I'm able to change only one of those.